mysterious death curse washes over the land, driven by a powerful artifact known as the Soulmonger. 4 would-be heroes have been sent to the jungles of Chult to destroy the cause of this terrible affliction. Vale, the half-elven paladin, who's just now learning of his divinely granted powers. Ubo, the turtle monk from a distant land, who's as quick with his wit as he is with his staff. Brilinya, Aasimar warlock, sent on this quest by her temple, discovering herself in this strange new land. And gunslinger Cole, tiefling artificer and archaeologist who may just dig up more than she bargained for. This motley band of adventurers must work together to brave the poisonous plants, venomous monsters, thundering dinosaurs, and rotting undead of the jungle. Join the omnipotent dungeon master Jake for mini-terrain domain to see if our heroes can find the Soulmonger, uncover the deeper mysteries of Chult, and free the world from the death curse. Welcome to the jungle. Welcome to Chult of Personality.
Well, hey there, internets. It's Jake from Mini Terrain Domain, and this is MT D&D's Chult of Personality, episode 23. Our Tomb of Annihilation D&D 5th edition campaign that's been going on for quite some time. We are in the thick of the jungle. We've been in the thick of the jungle for quite a long time now. And fortunately, I haven't had to make this trek alone. I have been joined by 4 incredible players playing some equally incredible, or even in some cases more incredible, characters along the way. We are joined by the 3 you see below, and our turtle monk Ubo, played by Drake, will not be joining us tonight, though he may pop in. I'm not expecting him. Taking care of things at home. So, we're going to go through and have you guys introduce yourself, tell us what you got going on, where we can find you, and then I'm going to go with you last, Marquis, so you can give us a quick recap of the last session, and then we're going to get into it. We're going to play some D&D for a little bit tonight. First up, I'm going to mix things up a little bit. We're going to go ahead and start with Megan.
Hey everyone, I'm Megan. You can find me everywhere. But I am one half of the YouTube channel, Dice on Ice. And yeah, tonight I will be playing Brilinya, Aasimar warlock. She's become one of my most favorite characters to play, so excited for another, I assume, fantastic session tonight.
And next up, it's Mike.
Hello everyone, my name is Mike. I'm on I have a YouTube channel, Mike the Piper. I'm also on Twitter under Mike the Piper. Look, I'm not very creative and stuff, but you can find me. You can find me on the Twitter and the YouTubes and MySpace. I think that's still a thing. You can also find me with a divining rod and a donut. If you can figure that one out and track me down. I will eat the donut, though. I am playing Vale Istafall, the half-elf paladin, who's going to die soon. Pretty sure it's going to happen. You know, little charismatic bugger. I think that this is it for him. You know, I think he's done. But hey, we got another character not in the works at all. It'll take me some time to do it, but I'm looking forward to playing tonight because it's going to kick ass because Jake is freaking rad. That's it. That's all I got.
I'll accept that. Before we go over to Marquise, I'm going to jump in because I'm going to have Marquise give us a recap, and then we're going to jump right into the game. I am Jake from Mini Terrain Domain, where I make miniature terrain, and I do miniature painting. I also run a whole bunch of D&D games right here on Twitch and on the YouTube channel by the same name. You can find me on Twitter, as it says right here, at @MTD_Jake. And I just announced, or I co-announced, this weekend and excuse me, and today, that in early fall I will be, along with the Arcane Library, Kelsey Dion, Ken Brees, and Sharang Biswas. The four of us are co-publishing the Adventure Mixtape Volume 1. Each one of us is writing our own one-shot adventure. The four of them are going to go into the book, and you can run each one on its own, or we're going to have things in there so you can link all of the adventures together. You can head over to my Twitter page right now, and you can see a couple of the announcements with links to the other authors' respective Twitters and YouTube channels, because each one of us is going to be doing some kind of a video or something talking about how we're creating our adventure. And I just announced today, right here on the Twitch channel, I'm not sure which day it's going to be, but it will be this week. Again, follow me on Twitter to find out. I'm going to start a short series of adventure prep where I'm going to talk about all aspects of creating the adventure, from outlining monster creation, crafting the story, and even parts that I don't normally do for my one-shot adventures because I use milestone XP. I have to incorporate a little bit of encounter balance and XP for those people that do use those things. So if you're at all interested in adventure design, you'll want to catch those right here on the Twitch channel. If not, at least keep an eye out for the announcements for Adventure Mixtape Volume 1 coming this fall. On to Marquise.
Thank you, Jake, for taking the exact amount of time I needed to fix my hair. But with that being said, I am Marquise. Find me at my blog, which is Marquise. It's H2M's and then Marquise. Not 3 M's and then Marquise. You'll get it messed up. Or 1 M and then Marquise. That's just weird. 2 M's and Marquise. .blogspot.com. Cool place. Go check it out. I play Dunala. He's a 1T sorcerer, which, as it just so happens, we're about to get jacked by a 1T gang, to quote my good DM here, Jake, for our recap. So that's our recap. All those cool dudes we saved, all those tears and everything for the dead husband, sharing the meat and all that, didn't matter. 1T assholes just like I am. They're going to jack us. I'm about to counter jack them. So I want my meat back. That being said, that's a slogan for this campaign now, and that's our recap.
the new catchphrase is, I want my meat back. Sung to the tune of Baby Back Ribs. Mike, I'll leave that task up to you.
Knock it out, Mike.
So yes, in the last session, everybody was asleep, having been through an arduous few days. They had decided to take the day off and rest the rest of the day and into the night. Everybody had found their places to rest up, and when it was the 4 adventurers here, it was no longer their turn at watch. All of them were slumbering. Salida, their guide, who has been with them for the last 10 day and a half, trekking through the jungles, sharing in their trials and tribulations. She was on watch when they each had their own respective dreams, but Brilinya was the one who had a former party member, Gunslinger Cole, speak to her, issuing her a warning to wake up. And she saw the dreamscape shift, and Gunslinger Cole shifted appearance into that of Salida, who was speaking in Abyssal, and other figures around the camp began to rise up. Those of Captain Thessalandra, Bravewing, Ridas, Falx, Brax, and Veliad, the survivors of the crash that they had saved, also began speaking in this abyssal language and approaching our party members with daggers drawn and other weapons drawn. Brilinya with the warning coming from Cole telling you to wake up, and you seeing this in your dreamscape, I would like you to make a wisdom saving throw. And I think it's going to be straight. It would have been disadvantaged because you being asleep, but with everything that happened, it just kind of, it's straight out. So it's going to be a wisdom saving throw to see if you can wake up.
I got an unnatural 20.
What does it look like as you're pulling yourself up from this dream, and the scene that you just saw in your dream, minus the fading glow from the dream serpent, is playing out in reality before you?
I can imagine after this vision with Cole and these Yanti coming up, and all of these visions, it's kind of like she's having a nightmare, but she knows that she is dreaming, and she is trying everything she can to wake herself up. She is trying to just will herself to wake up. She shuts her eyes as tight as they can. And then when she opens them, she expects to find herself in a peaceful camp, in quiet. But she wakes up in the exact same, or she opens her eyes and she's in the exact same scenario as in this nightmare. And she still thinks she's dreaming, so she keeps closing her eyes and opening them, but gradually her senses come into play. She can feel the air on her skin. She can feel the ground beneath her, and she knows that this isn't a dream anymore. This is real. And I think she would actually look over as quietly as she can to see where her other comrades are, how close they are to her. She doesn't want for them to notice that she's awake.
You would notice that Ubo is snoring softly near you, where you and Ubo had specifically kind of set up vigil by the grave of Veliad's husband, Nahar. And Ubo is just on the other side of that grave, asleep, snoring softly. Remind me, Vale, where you had set up. I know Dunala was about 20 or 30 feet away from underneath the
full
cover,
60 feet.
or 60 feet, under the from under the canopy of the wreckage. Where had Vale set up?
I probably would have set up near, kind of near the edge of the kind of hanging tarp, like broken balloon.
Yeah, just there's the image, just as a reminder.
Yeah, and I probably would have set up like on the edge, like at a perimeter. It's not like I have to worry about freezing to death, so I don't have to worry about a fire. And also, I'd be probably hanging out with my boy Moy. Love that guy. Huh?
Oh, you
by
mean
that I mean Moyo Lehuani, but you know, Moy for short.
And by boy, you mean girl.
Yeah, well, you know, Moy.
Well, as if a celestial,
I think it's a little early. I think it's a little early to opposing genders on Moy. Okay, like
On
let's.
all 7 of his snakeheads plus the jaguar.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. So I'm not going to do that. But yeah, Moy, just hanging out with Moy.
Okay.
Maybe resting up on it.
So
Them.
Brilinya, you're able to kind of look to where you know people had kind of set up, and you get the sense, you can kind of see where everybody is more or less, you can't really get eyes from where you're at, pretending at this point to be asleep on Dunala. You can sense the movement and just kind of see out of your periphery as these figures are moving around. And you actually see one of them crouch low over Ubo. And you can just make out there as they lean down close to Ubo's face with a hand, and they go and blow something into his face. While snoring, Ubo kind of and then you hear nothing. Vale, I would like a perception check for I'm gonna check this real quick, but for Moyo, I just need to see. Let's see, because I think they get advantage on certain checks.
Muted. I believe it's they get checks on it based on scent.
So this is going to be at disadvantage because unless you give me a compelling reason why not. Well, actually, it's celestial, so I don't know. You tell me if Moyo is awake or asleep, or what Moyo's doing.
Well, if memory serves me correct, of course now I can't dang well find it. Crap. Well, that's.
I have the stats here. What do you need?
I just needed to. I just needed the bonus for it. But the other thing I need to make sure was if the steed needs to sleep, because it might not.
I was just thinking that same thing. That's why I was like, let's see.
Here we go. Find steed. Steed serves you as a mount. Celestial, Fey, or Fiend. Oh, pick one. Oh man, I could have had a camel. Jeez. They spit and they're pissy. Well, it says nothing that I can see.
No definition of whether or not they need to. So that's up to you. That's what it's doing.
Yeah, I would say it's. I would say that it's probably just sleeping.
Kind of curled up next to you.
Yeah. Well, I'm actually, I guess, curled up into it, seeing as how it's the size of a horse.
Snake heads kind of drooping over your shoulders, coiled loosely around your neck.
Yeah.
So give me a perception check at disadvantage for Moyo.
Well, all right then. I believe it's a +2, right?
I thought it was +4, but...
All right, then that would be a 19 with disadvantage.
Yeah, perception is +4.
Okay, so yeah, that's a 19. Damn.
There's a movement near you as you feel the tense form of Moyo waking and starting to rise with you leaning against it. Give me a let's go with wisdom. Let's go with a wisdom check. Just straight.
All right. Nope, that's a 4.
So unbeknownst to you, Moyo has kind of stood up, and you've just kind of rolled off of its body into kind of leaning against your hands now, not fully waking from this sleep. You don't see this, Brill. You kind of catch a sense of this, that Moyo is alert, but having already established Salida and the others as allies, the Commandant is a bit slow to catch on to what's happening. And as you shift, one of the forms kind of gets in close, and it blows a powder into your face, and another one blows a powder into the Commandant's face. And what I need is, I forget what the check is. I need a Constitution saving throw for both you and Moyo. And this is happening kind of simultaneously with Ubo having the powder blown in his face. I'm actually going to go ahead and I don't remember what his con is, but I'm going to... Well, even regardless of what it is, I rolled a 6 for Ubo, so... All right, what do you get, Mike? I mean, Vale.
Sorry, I am still trying to look for that damn picture that I had, which I'll have to get it again. But I rolled in that 10, so the its con is what, +4, +3?
I'll tell you in a moment, and I'm also going to send you the thing again. Its con is +2.
All right, so that would be a 12 for Moyo.
And what'd you get? For yourself? Yeah, for yourself.
You know what? I don't even need. I'll just take 20. That's okay, right?
No.
Damn it. For myself,
that's at disadvantage because you're asleep.
Right. Yeah. Try that again. So then that would be a 12.
All right, so you both fail. And Megan, or Brilinya, as this kind of happens, you sense a figure standing over top of you, up near your head. Just at the same moment that there's this at Ubo across from you.
Would I be able to take an action in response to this?
Yeah, I think what I'm going to do is that's happening. I'm actually going to jump over to Dunala, and I think I'm going to have you two. We're going to see. We might end up. Dunala, give me a. Actually, let me do this. This will make it even better. Jack die. Okay, give me a perception check at disadvantage.
Sorry, so I'm going to use a point of inspiration to cancel out the disadvantage.
Sure.
And I have a total of 15 on that roll.
Okay, so I want Dunala and Brilinya. I'm going to have you basically roll initiative.
All right, I have a 21.
I have a 9.
Sick.
Okay. Dunala, you're going to act first. This is happening at the same time. Somebody's moving over towards you. You're asleep, and I want you to tell me what it is exactly. Mike, your image is in the chat. What it is that when you hear the sound of a twig snapping, how it is that you wake up and what you do in that moment.
When that twig snaps is when this Wanty would realize that they've made a grave mistake by assuming that someone as suspicious and strange as Dunala was a light sleeper. You see, the moment that twig snaps, that Wanty can't see anymore. Everything around him is darkness, and not the darkness of night, not the darkness in the cave, not the darkness of being alone in your room, but a cruel, empty darkness. A complete void encapsulates not only him, but Dunala as well, as I'm using my special casting of darkness that I can see through and triggering it like that. Because if it was Brilinya or Vale or Ubo approaching Dunala, they would be loud. They would be moving normally, and that's sneaking like snakes throughout the grass.
Is there any kind of saving throw against this effect? Okay. All right, and that's an action to cast that? Okay.
Oh, can I take a bonus action too, or no?
Yeah, if you've got a bonus action.
Yeah, I do. So can Dunala see this person?
Yep, I was just about to ask you that if you were looking around.
So Dunala's
just the figure that is moving towards you, that is about 10 feet away from you when the twig snaps, is Salida.
Dunala stands from his hammock under the cover of this supernatural darkness, and he says to Salida from a distance, "This is sloppy of you, Salida." And when he says it, it's clear that his voice is different. And I'm using my bonus action to spend more sorcery points, and I'm creating, I should say, my Hound of Ill Omen, or in this case, the Serpent of Ill Omen. And my shadow, though she can't see it, splits and becomes this massive serpent. Statistically, it's a dire wolf, and it goes and it's going to surround her. And in addition to having a dire wolf that will be attacking her starting on my next turn, she will have disadvantage on all saving throws against my spells. And then, still under cover of darkness, I'm going to move behind a nearby tree. That'll be my turn.
All right. Let's see. That was that. So next, you had a 9, Megan. So the figure near you, standing over your head, all of a sudden, Brilinya, you see as their face, and it's the face of Veliad. And you see as he leans over you and he holds his fist to his face and goes, and you feel like a light sand fall across your face. And I need a Constitution saving throw.
Got a nat 1.
This sand gets into your nose. You seem to take in the breath at the exact moment that this dust comes down. You inhale and you feel this dust getting into your nostrils, and you get only a single cough out as you feel that sleep paralysis that you were trying to escape from as you were waking up from the dream immediately falls over your entire body. And the last thing you see before you fall unconscious is Veliad's face looking down at you. And you are completely unconscious. So that skips you. So Salida's basically blind against Dunala.
Yep, she's blind.
She cannot currently see the...
Yeah, she doesn't know how the Serpent of Ill Omen has been summoned, because she can't see it, obviously, and it's made no sound. So...
All right. So you can see as Salida you can see this look as that sort of secondary lids kind of go over her eyes, almost like she's trying to do something to be able to see through this darkness. And what she does, there it is instinctively she reaches her hand out and then she stops. And you see as her hand changes, like she was beginning to start to cast a spell, and she shifts into another spell that I'm stalling for as I find it, because I think you get a saving throw on it. You get a wisdom saving throw.
Does she need to see me for the spell to take effect, or does it just happen?
Let me see. You know what? You're right. So it's going to happen anyway.
All right.
Because she's acting reflexively. As you see her hold her hand out, and as she begins to cast the spell, you see a forked tongue flicker out of her mouth as she says to you, "I suggest that you lay down your arms and surrender willingly, Dunala." And you can feel the ineffectiveness of this spell wash past you as she's kind of casting to the side of you because she can't see you, as she attempted to cast suggestion on you.
And seeing the forked tongue and the doubled eyelids, Dunala says to her in the abyssal draconic dialect of Wanti, "You think, sister, that this spell would work on me? You saw me cast it on the goblins, did you not? Why do you play these games?" And he's like moving between trees before taking his turn, waiting for a response before he does anything.
You get no response from Salida. All you can see, still she's looking where she remembers you having been, is as she just kind of gives a crooked grin and the forked tongue flicks out again.
"I wonder, Salida, you've likely already poisoned the others, but you're not operating alone, are you?" And as he says this, he looks over through the churning darkness at the tent, well, I guess at the wreckage of the camp where everyone was sleeping, and he snaps his fingers. And as he does this, I am casting Fireball on that point, which is basically I'm fireballing the Wanti surrounding the party and the party itself, because this will either wake them up or kill everyone over there. And to Dunala, his friends will probably live, but if not, they were dead anyway to him because of the Wanti. So it's a whole fireball over that area.
You're fireballing your party?
The party and the Wanti on top of them.
Okay.
It's going to be a DC 16. I'm pretty sure everyone who's unconscious will fail automatically, so it's going to hurt them quite a bit. But I don't think it kills them. And if it does, sorry guys, it's 27 points of fire damage.
Well,
it feels like I'm dead.
Because of the nature of the poison that Ubo, Brilinya, and Vale ingested, they will not awaken when taking damage.
Oh well. Hopefully the Wanti will go to sleep afterwards.
Oh well, he says.
Oh well. I'm aiming more at the Wanti than the party. They just happen to be in the wrong place.
See, the trick is Marquise isn't tired of Dunala. He's tired of Dunala having to put up with the party, so he's not changing characters. All of you are. I forgot what I was looking up in here. I already looked up the poison. Yeah, so... Oh, I'm in the wrong book. That's why. Yeah, you guys, I believe, just because you're incapacitated and unconscious, you just automatically... an unconscious creature is incapacitated, can't move or speak, drops, automatically fail strength and dexterity. Fireball is a dexterity save. So, yeah. So, you, Vale, Brilinya, and Ubo are all taking the 27 points. You centered it on everybody else.
Yeah.
Pretty much in that area. Let me make dex saves for the others. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. So, and what's the DC?
16.
Oh, wait, she's not with you. There's 1 save and 1 fail. 2 fails. 3 fails. 4 fails.
Completely worth it.
And a nat 20. So, Salida's unaffected.
Mm-hmm.
Because she's over by you out of the range. Actually, Vale, make a save for Molo to see if Molo is going to take any damage. You're muted.
The fact that I got 3 or 4 people makes the whole thing worth it, by the way.
It doesn't. That was a con save?
No, it's
Or
a
is
dex
that
save for
Dex.
Fireball.
Dex. Gotcha. All right. And that is an 17. So I thought it was 18. 17.
So your Commandant is going to take half damage.
Good, because I'm going to heal that Commandant. I'm going to send Moyo right after Dunala so he can put the hurt on him.
Actually, you know what? I should actually have had I want Moyo to go ahead and roll initiative to see where you're going to act in the order here.
Luckily, Moyo can't see me casting the fireball. I'm inside of a shroud of darkness.
Yeah, but you know what? It's all about plot perception.
Listen, dude, you guys are gonna thank me when I kill Jake's railroad in the next 3 turns, right?
That's fair.
You don't
Guess we'll
think
just-
I
we'll
accounted
just half
for
kill
the
you, you'll just be
Yuan-Ti
mostly
sorcerer? All right,
I'm
so
not just any Yuan-Ti sorcerer, Jake. I'm Marquise, and I do things that are stupid and irresponsible, which makes it hard to DM for.
Yeah.
that's all right. It makes it interesting.
So for initiative, Moyo has 12.
Okay. Dunala, you watch as Veliad, Brax, Falx, and Radas are all consumed by this fire. They actually die screaming as
And Dunala would say to Salida, 3 down, 3 snakes left to skin.
4 actually.
4 snakes left.
But
to
you also
skin.
see as your as Vale and Brilinya and Ubo, they are blasted by the fireball. Their bodies kind of skittering through the wreckage a little ways. None of them awaken. The hanging canopy, the tree branches, and the wreckage of the star goddess are all on fire. The whole area is engulfed in flames. Debris is raining down from the tree above with the chaos that you have just inflicted on this area.
Darn Skippy right it is.
And it is back to Salida. Salida is going to use your voice as a guide, as she is going to come at you with scimitars.
The Serpent of Ilma will take an attack of opportunity then.
Okay, because, yep, she doesn't know it's there.
Right, let me pull up the direwolf stats real quick, because they use this direwolf stats. So, see what I'm adding to this. All right, bet. Okay, so it's going to be a 16 to hit. Is that going to be a hit or not?
Yes.
She's going to take 10 points of piercing damage as the serpent bites not her, but it bites the faintest glimmer of her shadow, and the wounds will manifest on her back.
As she begins to move towards you, her scimitars drawing, she staggers a moment, but seems to kind of push off and try to use that, whatever attacked her, that push, that momentum to drive her towards you. And she's going to take her attacks at you at disadvantage as the 2 scimitars flash only for your eyes. The first one is a 15 to hit.
That'll hit.
And the second one is a 13 to hit.
Will miss.
So she's swinging both scimitars across. One goes right over your head, but at the same time, the other one slashes across your face, dealing... I'm going to use my new D6s. Dealing 7 points of slashing damage across your cheek.
All right. I just barely made the concentration check for that.
And it is now Moyo's go. Moyo is completely surrounded by flame with Vale at its feet. Vale's cloak is smoldering. The crates around Vale are on fire, and fiery debris is raining down all around you. What would Moyo do?
I figured. Well, actually, hang on a second. You know what? I think Moyo would probably just leap out of the way, save herself, let Vale die. I mean, no. She'd probably grab him in her teeth. Maybe even the snakes kind of wrap themselves around him, pull them onto him, and kind of bound over the flames. And just kind of get out of there.
Which way? The way I'm seeing all of this taking place, based on where everybody said they were, is kind of the lower image, the lower side of this image. Just kind of under where the bow is where Veliad was buried. So that's where Ubo and Brilinya are. And then just off screen to the southwest of that is where Salida and Dunala are. So you're kind of in the middle here. I keep moving my mouse like you can see what I'm doing. But you're kind of in that middle area there. Would Moyo take you north? What direction would, or do you want to roll a D8 and see?
Yeah, let's do it.
Starting at north as 1. And going
Hang on, no, don't even tell me. Don't even tell me. I rolled a 3.
So that's going to be to the east.
There you go. That'd be the probably just the fastest way out. Maybe the.
All right. So I want a dexterity save at disadvantage because it's dragging you to dodge the fiery debris that's raining down. It's just going to be a single save.
All right.
Or check, not save. It's not a saving throw. It's a check.
Okay.
It's a dexterity check. It can be athletics or acrobatics. So I guess strength or dexterity, whatever works for your Commodon there.
Well, just having a look here. Yeah, I mean, the only thing this thing can... Yep, it's not doing any of that. It'll just make a straight-up dexterity saving throw. Disadvantage, which is... All right. That's okay. It's too bad I wasted that 20 for nothing, though. But it's still a 15.
All right, so...
Oh, that means I automatically succeeded. Yay! We did it.
So you take half damage. Takes 5 points of bludgeoning and fire damage as a piece of debris kind of hits and just misses, but the fire kind of shoots across and a piece of wood hits it. You don't take the damage. The Commodon does. But other than that, it drags you safely off from underneath the burning wreckage to the east there, to the range of its movement. And it is back to Dunala.
Where have the other 4 Wanti? Have they moved since?
They're all dead. There's one remaining.
Oh, there's only 1 Wanti dead. Only 1 Wanti alive then. I thought there were 4 Wanti alive.
Nope. The four you killed 4 of them with your fireball.
All right. So I have advantage to hit because he can't see me. So Dunala's actually going to raise a finger and point it over Salida's shoulder, and he's going to say to her, "You're the only one left, And when he says that, I'm casting Chaos Bolts on that Wanti, the last one over there that's in under the wreckage and everything.
Which happens to be Captain Thessalandra Bravewing.
All right. So I hit the captain. with a 13 plus 8 to hit, which I imagine is going to hit.
Absolutely.
All right, I'm casting this at 3rd level, so it's doing a total of 27 points of damage. And let me double check what type of damage that is. Make sure it's not poison.
Go ahead and tell, when you figure it out, tell how you kill Thassalandra.
I like to imagine that Solange is very confused when the fireball happened. First, the flames were black, and she knows that none of her compatriots cast black flames. But then, as she's kind of stumbling around, her eyes red through the smoke and everything, she looks up, and it looks like a bolt of lightning in the shape of a snake, and it hits her before she ever realizes what it actually is. And everything above her shoulders is just gone, completely annihilated and sent flying. And she's actually hit by thunder damage, and her blood just scatters into the flames and the bonfires, and the corpse collapses to the ground. I'm then going to move away from Salida because she's blinded by the darkness. I don't know if she's like a target of opportunity.
Is the darkness static?
Yeah, it stays on top of us. It's a 60-foot dome.
Okay.
Yeah. So I step away. I'm still in the darkness, but I'm stepping away from her, and I'm taunting her, basically saying, "All of the others are dead, Salida. Drop your swords. Don't run. I'll chase you down. I've done it before."
How far away did you move?
The full 30 feet.
Okay, so I want you to roll. I know you're not trying to be stealthy because you're talking, but I want you to roll a stealth check.
All right.
And I'm going to use that number for something.
Okay, so let me look at my bonuses real quick. Thank you, new D&D Beyond character sheet. That is a 19.
Okay, that is the DC for Salida to attempt to determine what direction you are coming from. And I'm rolling with disadvantage. You see her cock her head, listening as you're speaking. And then she brings a hand up. She tucks one scimitar under her other arm. She brings a hand up to her mouth, and she whistles loudly and shrilly. Over the roaring of the flames and the debris, you can hear a rushing sound of several sets of wings. You see from inside your shroud of darkness as first 2, then 2 more, then 4 more, until a total of 8 large forms crash to the ground around you. The flames billow as they use their wings to flare. And they immediately begin to skitter around looking. And they gather up. Let me click this on real quick. As massive dinosaur-like humanoids are all over this encampment.
Well, do Nala know these would be Terrafolk since he's Chultan?
I think being Chultan, you would absolutely know that they're Terrafolk. And they begin moving around. And they begin... I'm actually going to see... Yep. Yep. They are working in pairs as they throw nets over Ubo, Brilinya, and Vale, and wrap them in these nets. And you see them kind of step onto the edges of the nets. You actually see 2 of them grab at one of the fallen Yuan-Ti, as they kind of seem to almost look around confused, like looking for the right people to grab. And that's all they do on this turn. They get them kind of shrouded in these nets, and then they're kind of stepping on the edges of the nets, and you can just see them starting to kind of flare their wings. as it is now your turn, Dunala.
So Brill and Ubo are close to each other, right? And they're both prone flat on the ground, right?
Yeah, they're within probably. I'd say they're within. We'll call it 5 feet.
All right. So fireball is a sphere, and I can aim it at any point, be it any axis, right? X, Y, Z. So what I want to do is, since they're so flat on the ground, I want to angle the fireball so it hits the terrafolk, but it won't hit the two people lying on the ground underneath them. So basically, the sphere would be like, I don't know, like 5 feet off the ground, basically, which will still hit the terrafolk, but will still spare these two.
Okay. You're doing a fireball again?
Yeah, so it's another fireball.
Which is a 40-foot sphere.
20-foot sphere. Well, 20-foot radius sphere.
20-foot radius, so it's
right. It's 40-foot sphere.
So most of that's going to go off in the trees among the wreckage.
Yes, it would hit the wreckage. It would hit the terrafolk. They would be in danger of maybe a burning branch or something. Now, I'm not worried about that part.
Before you commit 100% to this, I will just say, because it is kind of obscured by the terrafolk image I put up, the bulk of the stern and part of the midship are going to get hit by your fireball.
So question, because they're at the grave, are they still underneath all that or no?
The grave is just under the edge of that.
All right. So if I put the fireball behind the terrafolk instead, so it would hit them and not these two, would that work, or would it still hit the tree?
I think... because you're doing this so hastily...
It wouldn't, okay.
And no, I'm not going to say no. I'm going to give you a chance... But I'm gonna have you do a quick Arcana check.
All right. So the whites of Dunala's eyes peel away, revealing the green. He is going to be. Actually, I don't need to use inspiration on this because I rolled an 18 on my first go. So it's going to be a total of.
It's good enough. I just had a lower DC in there in mind. You're able to make a quick assessment and position it in such a way to do minimal damage to the ship in the trees. So the terrafolk need to make a dexterity save.
Yep, DC 16.
My bookmark moved.
As I saved Brill's life, so that way she could stop being mad at me in the chat for fireballing her earlier.
Let's see. That is a 14 and a nat 20.
All right.
So one's going to take half and one's going to take full damage.
It's 37 points of damage I rolled. Almost max.
Actually, you know what? Hold on a second. Because you were aiming above them. There's actually 4 terrafolk that are there.
Dope.
So, yeah, you hit 2 of them and 2 of them throw themselves down low to the ground to avoid it.
All
the
right,
bulk
so
of it.
That's going to be 37 points of damage they passed, half of they succeeded.
You see basically one each of these terrafolk just burst into flame. Both of them immediately start flapping their wings, which just serves to fuel the fire around them. And each of them gets about 10 feet into the air before they just crash into the jungle in a burning wreckage.
Perfect. And then Dunala will move to a different point in the darkness, walking slowly, just to continue throwing off Solita.
All right. What is... I think we skipped Moyo last time. Is Moyo just holding tight with Vale with all this chaos exploding around?
Yeah, I would say that... Moyo's just trying to wake up Vale, maybe just pawing, trying to just keep him away from burning to death, as you do.
All right.
I imagine that. I assume I'm still passed out.
Yeah, it's you took full effect of the poison, and it's not one that you will wake up if you take any damage or jostling.
All right.
In fact, I actually need to roll to see for how many hours you guys are unconscious.
Well,
Okay, you guys aren't waking up anytime soon.
Son of a bitch. Actually, I'd like to.
You want to use your action to quit?
What?
Nothing. I was trying to anticipate your next smartass comment.
Yeah. This is a one-on-one session. The other two are just here to watch Dunala save their lives. Okay.
And failing miserably.
I've killed a lot of people.
Let's just blast all my friends with.
Blasting my friends killed 4 Wanty in one hit. That was so worth.
You know what? Definitely gonna stab you.
You would have done the same thing.
Stomach.
You would have done
it. I wouldn't.
You would have done it even if there were no Wanteen. If it was just me, thank you. You just would have fireballed me for no reason.
Oh well, but not everyone else.
Well, you can't wear shoes you can't look at, Mike. That doesn't make any sense, but that's what we're going with.
I'm going to give you negative inspiration for that comment. What does that even mean?
Anyway, what I was going to say was I wanted to see if Moyo is going to be thinking about going off and saving Brill and Ubo, because they're both, I assume, in a hot situation. God, that was terrible. So I don't know. Maybe roll a
religion. Religion, because it's your Ubtao appointed celestial. Unless you can give me a better reason.
I was thinking of just the Commandant's own wisdom to like, yeah, so he's okay, but maybe I should make sure the rest of them are okay, you know. And you know what? I'm going to use one of my points of inspiration so that I get advantage on that. Mother of God. Oh, my sweet giddy arse, yes. That's a nat 20.
All right, what does Moyo do?
So Moyo, and because it was so close to Canada Day, I'm going to have to use this Canadian reference. Moyo, much like the littlest hobo, goes, what? What? If you've never seen The Littlest Hobo, you should, okay? That is quality Canadian television right there. And not only that, that was a beautiful dog. It was a beautiful German Shepherd, and he died, and it was very fucking sad. But anyway, go ahead, YouTube it. We'll wait. No, we won't wait. So
prefer not to wait.
Exactly. So Moyo goes running up over the flames, quickly sniffs. The snakes start, like, kind of sensing out the different, like, both Ubo and Brill, and then it begin to kind of like pull, and that kind of like gives the Commandant its kind of sense of direction. So like the serpents, you know, pull in one direction to kind of point the Commandant into that direction, and Moyo goes running over, seeing Brill, kind of bats over some logs and everything else. Picks up Brill, deposits her right beside me, then jumps back, grabs Ubo, a little bit tougher because he's big. He's a bit heavier, but grabs Ubo, is able to throw him on her back, runs just as a log is falling. She kind of like does some crazy cool ass parkour.
Are you narrating the next half hour of the game? Is that what's happening?
Goddamn right I am. And then Dunala dies from explosive syphilis, and we all live happily ever after.
All right. Once the Commandant snaps out of its Scrubs-like head cocked imagining what happens, what actually happens?
Well, that was a nat 20. So, needless to say, yeah, pulls Brilinya out, pulls Ubo out.
Well, both of them have Terrafolk standing right over them.
Well, that's right. I forgot about that guy.
There's two Terrafolk standing right there. So it would have to deal with the Terrafolk first.
They're both half dead. Just have Moy, half deadify them so they're full dead, because one half plus one half is one.
Yeah, doesn't Moyo get multi-attack?
Yes, but are they close enough together
Yeah,
to
they're
do
within
that?
5 feet.
Fantastic. Then, yeah, I'm going to go right over to him. First one, we're going to, well, I guess we'll have to. First one, I'm going to. First one, I'll attack with a claw attack, and then the next one, I'm going to use. Oh, wait a minute. This is something I've been wanting to try for a little while. Instead of that,
I know what you're gonna do.
yeah, I gotta try it. So I'm gonna use its sleep breath, sleep gas, in a 30-foot cone. So each creature in that area must succeed on a DC 12 con save or fall unconscious for 10 minutes.
Now Brill is in super sleep.
No, it's fine. It's fine. She's not like Disney princess levels of sleep now.
One of the 2 Terrafolk fails.
Nice.
The other one got a nat 20.
These guys are getting lots of night 20s. I gotta talk to their dice.
It's this Tomb of Annihilation die. D20 is the one that's been rolling the nat 20s, not my new one.
It's a player killer.
So, what does this look like when it exhales the sleep breath and takes out one of the Terrafolk and the other one seems unaffected? And what does the sleep breath attack look like?
Just it looks like the Moyo just breathes in deep. Its huge shoulders heaving up, and then just like kind of turning its head slowly side to side. It just this kind of like greenish kind of gas. It looks like poison, but it's not. It just kind of like begins to like just bubble out, just heavier than air, and just kind of go along the ground, and then just begin to like kind of dissipate and rise up. One of the Terrafolk, yeah, just keels right over. The other one just instinctively kind of beats its wings and kind of pushes a large swath of it kind of away. And it was fine. It's a dick.
The one that stayed standing, how far away is the Commandant? I think your range was 30 feet.
Yeah, I would say that he's probably 20 feet away.
Let's see. Yes, it can make that. The Terrafolk does this kind of almost like on all fours with its wings hang from its arms like a cloak almost, as it kind of skitters across the ground toward the Commandant, and it just begins flashing its claws and its beak at the Commandant. As it's going to take its multi-attack. One claw attacks for 13. 17.
You muted, Mike.
And 20 modified. What's the AC?
They all hit. 13 was what you had to make, so.
So that's 2... What are the... Okay, those are D4. So the claw attacks. The first claw attack is... the bite attack is a 6 as it snaps with the beak. And then the 2 claws are a total 6 plus 4 of 10. So 16 total points of slashing and piercing damage as this thing just ferally swipes at it twice and takes a bite out of its haunch. Yep, that's the end of its turn. Let's see. Those were over by them. At the same time, the 2 Terrafolk that have a net over Vale begin flapping their wings.
Ubo or Vale?
Vale.
I thought Vale was carried to safety by the Commandant.
Oh, you're right. It's the 2 that have the 2 that have the corpse really of one of the Yuan-Ti begin flapping their wings. And then 2 of them are going to use this turn to fly over to where Vale is. Let me see if they can find him. That one has no idea where you are, Vale. And that one kind of taps it on the shoulder and says, "No, over there." They're gonna
Damn it, Jeff.
They're gonna fly over and drop down with their net, covering Vale with the net, and that's all they can do. So let's see. You've knocked one unconscious, and 2 of them are dead. Okay. And you can see 4 more, because there was a total of 8. You can see 4 more kind of shifting through the shadows, Dunala, and it's your turn.
Dunala points a finger at Salida. Right now, she's the most dangerous threat by a mile because she seems to be the one orchestrating this operation. I got a 17 plus 8 to hit her with a 3rd level Chaos Bolt. It's going to do a total of 27 points of thunder damage, and I'm trying to make it non-lethal. And when he points at her with his index finger, these 4 seizing serpents just kind of like fall from the tree branches. They all turn their heads at once towards Salida, still seizing, and they begin to hiss at her. And the hissing will get louder and louder and louder till it's literally overwhelming her ears and causing her ears to break. That's the thunder damage. The Chaos Bolt.
What was the damage?
27.
You see as Salida, let's see, as she drops her scimitars, screaming and clapping her hands over her ears, and she is kind of as she's holding her hands over her ears, she's casting about, looking through this darkness, and she's going to turn and attempt to run parallel to the wreckage.
My turn's not done yet if she's not at 0.
Oh, no,
Yeah.
She's not at 0.
Okay, in that case, 1, the Serpent of Ill Omen is going to attack her to try and also put her down non-lethally. And if that doesn't work, I'm going to use my bonus action to offhand attack her.
All right, how is it? What's it doing to put her down?
All right, so the Serpent of Ill Omen, which is going to have a 16 to hit, is going to dive back into her shadow. And as it does so, the damage is going to manifest itself on her bones, pretty much. Basically trying to break bones, dealing 10 points of damage if the 16 hits.
The 16 hits.
All right. And if 10 points of damage put her down or no?
It does not. She's hurting, but she is not down yet.
So I have a 19 on the die for my offhand attack with no modifiers, of course, because it's an offhand attack. What he's doing is he wears a Yukwa on his side. He basically jaws it for his free action. I'm going to charge her with it and basically just strike her with the butt end directly in the back of the head.
All right, so
all right,
take your attack.
So that's a 19 on the die to hit,
yep.
And that is going to be, look at the damage real quick. All right. All right, it's going to be 5 points of damage to knock her out, hopefully.
You slam the butt of your weapon into the back of her head. She has no idea you're there, you having used this darkness so effectively. You strike her, and she turns around as if she can see you, though she can't. She seems to be staring right at you. And you see again as those secondary lids flicker. You see the snake tongue flick out and seem to kind of hesitate there, flickering in the air, tasting the air around her. And before it goes in, it kind of flicks across the blood, her own blood that sprayed across her face from these various attacks. Blood running down from her ears. And then you see her eyes kind of flutter. And then her eyes roll back into her head as she drops to her knees and falls unconscious
Perfect. Thank you. That's my turn.
It is Moyo's turn. There is still the one conscious Terrafolk by Brilinya, and 2 that have landed over by Vale.
I'm gonna take the one out that's right in front of me, the one that already attacked. Moyo's pissed off and he's gonna just fuck that little guy up. So he's gonna make this time. He's gonna fight to kill. So he's making 2. Doing 2 attacks. So it's claw attack and a snake attack.
All right.
So first one, claw attack, and that is that'd be a 16 to hit.
That's gonna hit.
Okay, and that is 6 points of slashing damage.
All right.
And then the next one is snake attack. That's a lot better. That's 21 to hit.
Oh yeah.
Cool. And same thing. That's 6 piercing, but it also has to make a DC 12 con save.
That's a 14 on the die plus 1, 15.
Yep, that makes it. So then, do you want me just to do the average of the poison damage?
As opposed to rolling?
Yeah, rolling 66.
You can roll.
All right.
Or you can take the average. It's up to you.
That's okay. You know what? The first one's already good here. So it's 6 and 2 4s. So that's 14, 20, 26. So half of 26. So it takes 13 points of poison damage as well. So that's going to kind of be a thing.
Your attacks have struck at this thing. Moyo's attacks have struck at this thing, shredding into its wing and biting into it with the snakes, and you can see it stagger as it is actually going to make a single. It's only going to make one. Where did it go? There it is. It's only going to make one of its, and it's almost like a feral, instinctual snap back at Moyo with its beak, attempting to bite. And with a 10, I doubt that hits. Is it just kind of snaps in the air, just missing the snake heads, and because it attacked, that's part of its action. So Moyo will get an attack of opportunity as this thing begins to beat its wings to rise up into the air away from it. So Moyo gets one single attack of opportunity.
That's good. That's an 18, nat 18 on the die. So,
and that's going to hit.
And that would. I'm just gonna make it. I'm not gonna make it the fancy snake attack because I think that's really cheap and BS like. So here, take more poison damage, bitch. Nope. But it's gonna be a. I think it's gonna be a bite attack this time though, and that'll be another 5 points of piercing damage. Sinks one of his teeth into it.
Just like when you've seen a cat snatch a bird out of the air just as it's taking flight, Moyo leaps and snatches this Terrafolk.
That's so badass.
Out of the air before it can get too far out. And it actually bites open its gut, spilling its entrails as this Terrafolk collapses. You hear screeching from the other 4 Terrafolk. You hear one of them, Dunala, hissing, "Salida! Salida!" And then, still in common, it says, "We leave! This is fail!" And the 4 remaining terrafolk, you can hear their wings beating as they rise into the air. And you can see them, their undersides lit, Dunala, from the chaos of your fireballs and all of this destruction that you've wrought on this area.
Can I fireball them again as they're flying away?
Yeah, it's your turn. It's your turn next. I mean, that's their action, is to fly 40 feet in the air. So
I bet.
Do you have that many spell slots?
So I remember
you're level 6.
We were using spell points, remember? So I've been melting away my spell points. I'm getting very low.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
I spent these very effectively so far. As these 4 bastards fly into the sky, Dunala, without any facial expression whatsoever, just traces them with his eyes, and then that same black nightmare flame will blossom like a flower in the midst of these 4 terrafolk. And they must make their DC 16 saves for 29 points of fire damage.
Fail. Nat 20 on that same Tomb of Annihilation.
This die is evil. This die is...
This is not that... That's weird. It's not even green, and it's not quite showing up.
It's curbing my bloodlust, and I don't like that.
Fail with my new die. And then the Tomb of Annihilation is a 14 plus 1 is 15. What was the DC?
16, so it's 3 fails.
All right. So 3 fails and 1 success.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't even see their bodies fall. They just kind of blend in with the wreckage. And you see a streak through the air, its wings on fire, as one remaining terrafolk flies away.
Perfect.
And because you've kind of there's embers falling away from it, you can see as it is flying to the southeast.
Dunala tracks that location, and then he's going to move. He's going to move in the direction that he saw Moyo earlier take Vale. And with my 30 feet of movement, can I get into a space to just like have line of sight with those 2 terrafolk on top of Vale?
Well, they're gone. They're gone.
So all terrafolk.
Yeah, all of the remaining terrafolk were leaving.
All right, and did they take Vale with him or no?
Nope.
Okay, then with a snap of his fingers, he's going to end the darkness, and that will end his turn. And the Serpent of Ill Omen has disappeared. He's going to stand over Solida's body.
So as it stands right now, out of combat, Ubo, Brilinya, and Vale, their clothing all singed, their skin with burn marks across them. All of them are unconscious. There are several dead Yuan-Ti and several dead terrafolk. The wreckage of the star goddess burns in the trees above you. The only thing that stopped you from setting fire to this part of the jungle completely was that everything was saturated from the storms the day before. And Solida lies unconscious at your feet, her breathing shallow and ragged.
Dunala picks her up in his arms. And how long... Never mind. I won't answer that question. He's going to start basically collecting the living. When he sees Moyo, he's going to say to Moyo in his Chultan accent, "You did a good job, friend, fighting. I saw you. This one was a traitor. They were all traitors. Let us gather the living still, but I will tie this one up. If you can move the other 2 to safety, Moy. Sorry, I don't know your name. If you can move the other 2 to safety, put her to the Ubtal. That would be very helpful. I'm going to take Solida to where Vale is and tie her up like a warthog."
Moyo's going to attack Dunala.
Just kill Dunala right out.
Just kill him right
since
out.
Dunala is also a Yuan-Ti... No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, you know.
I think that Moyo would kind of be pacing around a bit and would probably move to the various corpses, ensuring that all of these bodies are dead. sniffing around Ubo and Brilinya before moving their bodies over to by Vale's and where you've tied up or are tying up Salida. It's struggling to move Ubo.
That's fine. That's Ubo. Once Salida is tied up, and I will wait very patiently because Dunala has no emotion, for Ubo to be pulled over. When all three of them are gathered, he's going to pull something out of his sash. He's going to hold it up for the Commandant to sniff, so that way he knows what I'm about to do is not anything like dangerous or poisonous. I'm just going to start applying these ointments that Dunala has handmade to the burns he's inflicted to his comrades. It won't heal any hit points, but it will ease the pain quite a bit. And as he's doing that, he's going to sit down in front of Salida with his legs crossed and just wait for someone to wake up.
Interesting. Salida is going to be the first one to wake up. Are you going to do any kind of do you want to do any kind of checks to see if you can ascertain what happened to the others?
No.
Okay.
He assumes they were either poisoned or knocked out somehow. But if they don't wake up in the next few hours, that's when Dunala will begin to feel faint and concerned. Otherwise, he's just concerned with Salida being tied up.
Salida will remain unconscious for let's see how long. Salida remains unconscious throughout most of your applying the salves and stuff to the others. None of them give any sign of stirring as you're treating them. Moyo has moved protectively around Vale and almost does this thing where it's more dog-like than feline, but it kind of holds its head near your hand very close as you're applying the salve to Vale.
Dunala's not worried. He knows if the Commandant thought him a threat, he would have died before now. So he just continues to apply it.
About 45 minutes after you begin all this, Salida begins to stir. And you just kind of hear this. Did you gag her or just tie her up?
I would have gagged her too. I don't want her speaking any spell nonsense without my leave.
You just hear.
Ah, you're awake, sister. It is good to hear. Would you prefer I speak in the common tongue, the Chultan tongue, or our native 1T tongue? I can do either for you. Just nod. Well, I guess a nod doesn't really answer the question either, does it?
Fuck you!
Ooh. Now, I know that you're faking that. We don't feel a mission, sister. Don't come at me with the fake anger or the fake fear or the fake concern. I already know what you are and you know what I am. We will see through each other's games. Let's play this straight, yes? I've stripped you of your weapons, as you should already know. And if you try to slither your way out or transform, as some of our kin can do, to escape that rope, I will kill you. I would prefer to keep you alive, but I will kill you.
Her eyes wide, just kind of casting around. She's kind of moving, looking around. You've got... How exactly do you have her bound up?
So her legs are tied, and then the legs are like tied also to the thighs, like underneath her. The arms are tied behind her, and he's taking pains to make sure that she can't like close her hands easily, just in case she does some crazy shit with that. And then he's got her gagged, and then another rope tying her around the tree. He basically used like everyone's 50 feet lengths of rope to make sure she has no mobility.
All right, you're about to break your DM, giving me anxiety with the thoughts of this. I'm very claustrophobic. I will try not to envision this to the full extent that you have described. You see her just struggle for a moment, clearly testing the binding, and then her eyes are, she's kind of casting around, and then you just see this sort of slumping of her shoulders as she just resigns. And she says in Abyssal, kind of through this gag, you just kind of hear, "What are you going to do with me?"
No. What kind of question is that, sister? What am I going to do with you? If I just killed you before Vale woke up, he'd make another death threat at me. He's made 3 at me so far. 3. He thinks I've forgotten about them. I haven't. But I don't hold grudges, so it's fine. I don't trust him very well, but Utao seems to. That makes him a very convenient companion to do what I need to do. But the other one, the Azamar, she's very easy to understand, very straightforward, like an arrow fired from a bow. So that being said, I know for a fact she would not believe me if I killed you. She already distrusts everything I do. So I will keep you alive for now. I will ask you some questions. You won't answer the questions, of course, but I must ask them nonetheless. And then they will wake up and you will lie to them, as you are wont to do, that this is all a misunderstanding and this, and that. And then it will be a debate between me and you, and I will have to prove you wrong. But luckily, we have this Commandant here who saw everything, and they will know that I am telling the truth. And once they know that I am telling the truth, we will decide to either kill you or to fully interrogate you, or, if the Azamar has her way, to let you go. Foolishly, of course. I mean, she wants to do that. I'm just pegging her as that kind of character. Is that thorough enough of an answer for you, sister?
You have no idea what you're up against.
I don't. That is very true.
Get this gag out of your mouth so I can talk to you.
I am not going to take the gag out of your mouth. I know what you can do with your words. You know what I can do with my words. That is stupid. Now, this Commandant doesn't fully trust me. So if I try to have a spell battle against you, he's liable to kill us both. So it is for your sake and Dunala's sake that we don't have a spell battle.
I'm not going to do the hand over the mouth thing anymore, but because you can understand her well enough. Mm-hmm. As she just says, there's nothing I can do the way you have me bound.
I don't trust you. You're a liar. I'm a liar.
You have no reason to trust me. Yes. But it makes no difference.
Siesta, he says, switching to Abyssal now. You must understand that we are all very paranoid creatures. All of us will take no chances. I put my bets into these two, and I was wise to do so. But I will not take a chance with you. I've already have, and look at what they did. And he indicates all the wreckage, the fires, the dead crew members. I must say, though, as amateur as it was to attack me, it was very smart what you did with the others. Was that dead one you have? Was he an actual person you found? Or was he just another wantee playing a part?
Just like all of you, they were all pawns in the greater games taking place.
Oh, it's a very impressive game you are playing. Now, we can sit here in silence, if you would like, until at least one of them wakes up. Or you could tell me everything I ask of you. Which will it be?
It's going to be hours before any of them awaken.
I'm very patient.
She just rolls her eyes at you. Well, I am not going anywhere.
All right. And I'm going to, Vale doesn't look like a type who writes a lot, is he?
I mean, I think it's more of a Vale didn't really have enough money to afford paper. And
that's fair. But Brilinya, on the other hand, she's Azamar, church educated.
Oh, yeah. She totally has a diary.
All right.
You know, it's good. She like dots her eyes with hearts.
All right. So taking out an obsidian dagger and stabbing it into the ground. Actually, no, he won't do that. He's going to keep it on his person. He's going to reach over the Brill, and he's going to search her for Cole's journal. And then take Cole's journal And then, biting his finger so it bleeds, he is going to open up to a blank page. And he looks at her and he says, I'm going to write down everything you tell me. I'll run out of blood from the small wound eventually, but you seem to be bleeding enough to give me ink as I need it. And he waits to see if she has any reaction to that, though he knows she shouldn't.
She just stares at you. She says nothing.
So then, when exactly... No, let me ask this. Where exactly were you planning on taking us?
She's just staring at you.
That is fine. I will sit here and I will wait. I would torture you, normally, of course. But again, the Azamar, Vale, they won't like it if I do that. So, and then he starts speaking in his normal Chultan accent. Dunala will wait here until they awake. Simple as that. And he's going to lean back and just stare at her. But because he has the alert feed, also be aware of everything, but mainly stare at her.
Vale and Brilinya, I want each of you to roll 4d6.
Days pass as I wait for them to wake up.
Just a straight D6?
4d6.
Got a
No
9.
modifiers. What'd you get?
9.
Okay.
Okay. Hang on a sec here. Oh my god. I got 21.
Dunala, after about a half hour of just fiercely staring back at you, Salita's eyes just, you can see she begins to fight sleep. And she starts nodding off.
You are tired, sister. Why is that?
She's trying so hard to stare you down, but her wounds were pretty bad. And if you do nothing to stop it, after about another 5 or 10 minutes, her head slumps down.
What he's actually going to do is going to let her slump down and go to sleep, and then take smelling salts from his pouch and use those to wake her up.
Okay. And she...
Was your nap nice? I tried to give you at least 10, maybe 15 seconds. Dunal is not sure if that is long enough for you, but it is all he could offer right now.
How long would you continue doing this?
Dunala, since he already basically had like 4 hours of sleep or whatever, he's going to do this until someone wakes up. He's charged. He's ready to go.
It's going to take 9 hours before Brilinya begins to awaken from the poison. So basically, this was kind of the middle of the night.
Mm-hmm.
The sun is already creeping over the horizon. About every 45 minutes or so, you and Salita do this little dance. And it's well into the morning when Brilinya, you start to awaken. You ache and you have like the worst hangover imaginable. You have just massive cotton mouth. Your head feels heavy. Your muscles ache as if they had been tensed up. And you begin to awaken, kind of realizing that you're around others. How does Brilinya come to, and what do you say or do?
Brilinya would just kind of squint against the sun that is coming up. And at first, I think you would hear her, Dunala, she begin to stir, begin to just kind of groan from the pain, from the soreness. And she opens her eyes wide at the scene before her, but it's kind of one of those things where you don't really see it the first time. And so then she just kind of closes her eyes again, but then she shakes her head and blinks a few more times and then looks at what is happening. And immediately her brow furrows and she's looking around in a panic. What's happening?
Calm down, Brilinya. Shh, calm. All threats have been isolated and removed, or in this case, tied up, and he indicates Salida. You were hurt pretty badly by the ensuing action, but I have applied ointments to you to reduce the pain. You should be okay with a few more hours. That being said, That being said, Brilinya, much has happened while you were sleeping.
I see that.
The wreckage of the Star Goddess is still, pieces of it are still burning. Every once in a while, half ash wood and smoldering and even flaming pieces in the background just fall out of the trees. The remnants of the airbag have long since burned away.
And she'd just kind of look up and she'd look down just at kind of, I can imagine there's some ash and maybe a few burns that are kind of glistening with this dried salve that Janal had put on. And she is just looking, her brain is just trying to process it, the remnants of the poison still kind of there.
Here. Take this. And he hands you a water skin filled with something. When you smell it, it won't smell like water or a tej. And he says to you, it will be bitter, but it help clears the head.
Brilinya would just kind of shake her head and thank you, but she would only take about a mouthful of it.
That's all it takes. This is some potent nonsense that Dunala has handed you. And as you take it, it's going to be like that, like fog is being lifted. It's just a narrative thing. Fog is being lifted. And he looks at you and he says, now, Brilinya, I need you to listen to what I'm about to say very carefully. And he reaches out with his right hand. He's going to grab Salida's head. And he's not going to pull up at the eyelid. He's going to pull at the side of it to pull back that second eyelid. And he's going to turn the head as he does so. So Brilinya looks at him. He's going to say to her, Salida, your guide, is a 1T. I don't know if you know what a 1T is. You likely do not. But they are a problem. They are a threat. She conspired to kill you or to capture you. She hasn't answered my questions yet. The entirety of the crew of the Star Goddess were all 1T as well. This was a trap laid in wait for us. Now, you are going to be confused, yes. Let me tell you this. I am also a 1T. I am not human, though I have told you I am human. That being said, I have went through great pains over the last 9 hours to save your lives and to isolate these threats, because there will be much to talk about. And then he's going to let go of Salida's head.
I wasn't going to kill you.
She said she is going to kill me. She has been saying...
I said I wasn't going to kill you.
Oh, she said she wasn't going to kill me, which is another variant of what she's been saying to me all morning.
I never said I was going to kill you.
Yes.
Brilinya would just look at Salida just with this kind of injured look. Salida, is this true?
Salida is not meeting your gaze. She won't look you in the eye. And she just repeats, and that kind of muffled with the with the gag that she can barely speak around, just enough that you can understand her. I was not going to kill you.
That dejection she is showing you, Brilinya, is fake. Do not believe it. Believe the words, but do not believe the emotion she is saying.
What do you mean? Please, Salida, please.
Tell her the truth, Salida.
Please.
She kind of looks disdainfully at you, Dunala. For just a moment, Brilinya, she meets your gaze. And then she looks away again. I can only do what my masters tell me to do.
Masters? Who? What? Has this been going on this whole time? And like, this is just a lot for Brilinya. She's just kind of like putting her hand to her head.
He holds her the drink again.
If Dunala would remove this gag, I can speak more clearly.
If we remove the gag, okay, brilliant. When we were with the goblins, I cast a spell on the goblin chiefess. So that's why it was a suggestion spell. So that way they would not harm us and they would believe that we were there to help them. If we take the gag off of her, she will do the same to one of us too. The gag is not to be removed.
But then how can she talk? How can she tell us?
I can understand what she is saying. They will tell you this, Brilinya, and you will not like it, and I understand that. But if we remove that gag, I will be forced to kill her. She is not to be trusted. We Wanti are intelligent and feel no emotion. We do not know what it means to be happy, to be sad, to know what friends are. Okay? I used to know those things, but I do not anymore. And I do not think Salida ever knew what those things were. So if you take that gag from her, if you believe a word she says, it is the same as telling your executioner that he will. So if the executioner telling you, he will not kill you as he cuts off your head. So do not take the gag out of her mouth.
You think you know so much that you do not know.
I don't care what I do not know.
I am bound up like some kind of livestock. Most of my blood lies on the ground. You think I could cast a spell on you before you could kill me? You know what I am capable of.
Salida, let me tell you this. I don't care if I will kill you after you cast a spell or before you cast a spell. The act of casting a spell is a danger, and I am not taking any more unnecessary dangers around you. Now, Brilinya, if you have questions for her, please ask her these questions. But you have to learn to interpret her through the gag as I have. It is an art I can teach you, yes. It is very simple. It took me only 20 minutes or so.
She seems to be breathing a little heavier. As you see, kind of around the gag, you can just see the tip of that forked tongue of hers lick the air. Just the forked tip.
Trying to taste
remove this gag and untie me. And I want you to make a wisdom saving throw at advantage.
Both of us, or just?
Let's see.
I got 2 18s regardless if it's on me. I got a 17 twice in a row.
Okay. And that is a... And you would recognize that she is attempting to cast suggestion on you.
Do I pass her DC?
You do.
Just now, Brilinya. I don't know if you felt it. She tried to cast another spell on me.
It was only on you. She can only target one person.
Alright. She tried to cast a spell on me. The same spell I cast on the Goblin Chiefess. When her fourth tongue comes out, that is her sign. All Wanti who are not full snake have a sign. Mine, I have scales on my arms. I've disguised them for right now. Hers is her forked tongue of hers.
Do not listen to him, Brilinya. He is a liar.
Salida, I just showed you mercy but not killing you when I said I would when you cast a spell. I will kill you if you say one more lie.
No one's killing anyone right now. We need to get this straight. We need to get this right.
You would be better off killing Donala, Brilinya. I need you to make a wisdom saving throw at advantage. And Donala, you do recognize that she is attempting to cast suggestion on Brilinya.
Salida.
I got a 12?
You just pass as you describe what it's like as Salida seems to almost convince you before you see through her lies.
I can imagine that Salida is looking at Brilinya directly in the eye, and for a second she just sees their guide who's been, who's helped them, who's shown them the way, who up to this point has proven herself to be a, valued ally. But then the flashback of her vision, of her dream with Cole and of Salida and the forked tongue kind of flashes into her mind like lightning. And Donala, you can see that she was starting to walk towards Salida, but then she just blinks and she stops.
You felt it, didn't you?
That doesn't make sense. She's helped us. She's been our guide.
Donala snaps his fingers. I'm casting Infestation. It does poison damage, which Salida is immune to, but it also forces her to move. But she can't move because she's restrained by all these ropes, right? So basically what I'm doing is I'm using these termites and these ants that are crawling all over her, basically as a very uncomfortable torture, because she can't move to get away, and it's extremely uncomfortable, but it won't kill her. And that should keep her preoccupied for a while. It would be a con save, DC 16, but if she fails it, I want to keep casting it until it works.
Yeah, it's just going to happen. There's not really much she can do about it.
And as she's being tortured, I say to Brilinya, she won't die from this. She just will stop talking. But you are correct. She has tricked you. She has lied to you. She has played you very well, might I add. Her plans were very effective. I admire them. But that being said, she is ultimately your enemy, Brilinya.
Remind me, because I don't have Infestation is a Xanathar spell, right?
Yeah.
Is it actual insects all over her?
Yes, it's actual insects. In my case, they're going to be like these dream-like wispy insects, but same thing at the end of the day.
Brilinya, you can see Salida fighting against her restraints as these insects are swarming all over her body. And she's struggling, and she's through the gag, and she's starting to scream.
They want to be able to hurt her.
This is the woman that, despite the revelations of the last few moments, has been with you, fought alongside you, helped bury Cole, has been with you for the better part of the last 10 days or so.
Yeah, Brilinya would turn to Donala and just, stop that. That we don't need to do that.
I will do as you command. And he takes a deep swig from the drink he gave to you, Brilinya. Brilinya doesn't know this, but he's clearly stalling for time to make the torch last just a bit longer, and then it ends as the insects disappear. And he says as he lowers it, Salida, if you do that again, I will keep doing it until you have completely evacuated your bladder, your bowels, and your stomach all over yourself. Do not cast another spell. I do not want to have to kill you. I'm trying to keep you alive, but you are making it very difficult.
Panting heavily through the gag, she just says, "You are an insult to the very existence of Tendar, the Night Serpent."
I have been trying to do that my entire life. The fact that I have fills me with a great sense of accomplishment, if I could feel such a thing.
He will take great pride in destroying all of you.
Perhaps he will, but I will take greater pride in torturing you more first.
I think Bro would turn to Donala. So you're one of these?
It is a long story, but I will tell you this. I was not born as a Wanti. I was forced to become a Wanti. Becoming a Wanti made me lose my family. It made me lose my child. And I was exiled from the port. That is why you found me here. I was on my way to the heart of Uptau for reasons that are on my own. I will tell you when Vale awakens. I want you both to hear them. But, yes, in all ways, both in soul and in flesh and in mind, I am no longer human. I am a Wanti. And when he says that, the whites of the eyes peel back, and you see the jade greens and the gold iris. And then he puts his arms into his robe, and he takes the upper top of his robe off and falls to the sides. And he shows you his arms. And the scarification tattoos peel away, revealing these glistening jade scales that cover everything from the knuckles to the shoulders. And he says, I go through great pains to hide it, but this is what I really look like. Brilinya.
Brilinya looks from your forearms to her own, and she just kind of nods, kind of digesting your story. Do you know when Vale is going to wake up?
He looks at Salida. Do you know, sister?
It could be a few more hours. It could be another day. And with that, we see as the camera sort of pans down across the unconscious forms of Ubo, and then to Vale with the Kamadan Moyo kind of curled protectively around him. And you can see, despite the fact that he seems to be unconscious by some poisonous means, you can see the eyes moving rapidly beneath the lids of Vale. And as the camera gets close to Vale's face, it dissolves into the white of clouds. Vale, you are high above the jungles of Chult, flying through the sky. Coming out of a bank of clouds, you see below you the vast jungles of Chult. You can see the in the distance to the south, you see the peaks of volcanoes. You can see on three sides the coasts of the land of Chult. You see in various places the mountains. You see the city to the north, the Port Nyanzaru, and the tiny ships moving in and out of the harbor. You see the Eldani Basin spread out below you that you were heading toward. Just below you, thousands of feet below you, you see smoke rising from the jungle, from the burning wreckage of an airship. And there in the midst of the marshlands of the Eldani Basin, you see a massive stone structure floating high above the Eldani Basin. It is in the shape of a heart. And like severed ventricles rising up from the heart, you see, as you fly closer toward it, a dead oak tree. As you grow closer, a swarm of bats flies out of the top of this tree, forming a temporary cloud before your vision. And as you grow closer to this tree, you can see that from this small plateaued surface, about 50 feet in diameter, you can see stairs descending down around the floating heart of Ubtao, going into a small cave. You circle around this heart, floating high above, about 100 feet above the Eldani Basin. And then rapidly you descend into the hollow oak, down into the very heart of Ubtao, where you find like a small grove. What's the word I'm looking for? That secret place at the Playboy Mansion that everybody goes inside.
Oh, you talk about the famous brothels of Las Vegas.
Not the brothel.
It's called the Grotto.
The Grotto. That's the word I want.
There you go.
It's unfortunate I had to use a Playboy reference, and then
I've
we
never
all
been
knew what I
there,
was talking about.
so we
but
can-
it's a small grotto with a pool of water in the middle, and you find yourself floating down and settling on a tree stump near the edge of this pool of water. You can see up through the hollow, petrified trunk of this tree 20 feet above you. You can see natural stone pillars formed in this hollow of the heart of Ubtao. You see bookcases, 3 of them along one wall. You see a desk and several crates along another wall. You see couple of open doorways into smaller chambers. You can see daylight through a small cave entrance. There's a empty iron cage in one portion of the room. And there is seated at the desk a figure. The figure turns to face you. It is a female. She has elven features. She wears a rough spun cloak. She turns and sees you. She stands and she says, "Ah, Vale. I've been waiting for you to arrive by, well, more conventional means. But if we must meet on the spiritual plane, then so be it. Welcome to the heart of Ubtao. I am the voice of Ubtao." And that is where we're going to end. We will pick up next session with Vale meeting the voice of Ubtao in the heart of Ubtao on the spiritual plane. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail, but I will say that this session did not go anywhere near where I was originally planning. I don't remember if you said it out loud or if you said it in our chat, but you made a comment, Marquise, about screwing up my railroad. It wasn't a railroad. You had definite choices of directions you could go. I was just expecting it to, not to go without a fight, but I didn't expect such dominance. And I had to scramble to figure out where things were going to go exactly. So I'm really interested. I actually really like this because it ended in a way that I had not fully prepared for, with you killing pretty much everybody but Salida, and you now have Salida completely captured. But hey, that sometimes the heroes get the upper hand over the bad guys, and it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. And just because I always like to reveal a little behind the scenes, out of character, in case anybody's wondering, the method of which everybody was put to sleep is by the book, mechanical. It is, I want to actually get the name of it right. It is a poison known as torpor, which is a straight con save, or you're unconscious for 4d6 hours.
Exciting.
You know, the one time we're like, gosh, I hope I roll 3 1s or 4 1s.
But it actually worked out because of what's happening. So, you know, you have this unique connection to Ubtao. And it'll be interesting to see.
Voice of Ubtao. I don't know who this individual is, but an elf. I mean, that's, yeesh, you know.
Oh, you're half elven.
I know, but that's just, you know.
It's your
elves
mother.
could be very territorial, maybe. Or elves could be very territorial. Be like, you know, bitch, only room for one.
She's like a feral dog. She's like peed on all the heart of Ubtao.
Yeah,
so like,
maybe.
Come in, she's like, I'm gonna pee on you too, or you're getting out of here.
Maybe. I don't even have a safe word. So there you go.
I definitely did not expect for there to be explosions and for the wreckage of the ship in the tree to be raining down fire around you, or for you to literally intentionally blow a fireball amongst your allies.
Listen, when you got things to do, you got things to do, and nobody's getting in the way.
What I was expecting when you said that was for you to say, and I'm using sorcery points to cast this spell carefully.
Don't have careful spell. I didn't take it.
Fair. So no, that was a lot. I hope you guys enjoyed that. That was a lot of fun for me because it really kept me on my toes, as you guys always do. And as you level up, you're increasingly keeping me on my toes. But I'm really interested to see how Brilinya, in particular, is going to deal with this betrayal from somebody who's been with them for so long, or apparent betrayal. Yeah, this was crazy because the one Terrafolk that got away was not just me doing the DM fiat and saying, but one gets away to tell the tale. I legit rolled all the saving throws and everything, and you just missed that one.
My Chaos Bolt has a range of 150 feet, so I was going to chase it and blow it out the sky, but I was like, let this one live to tell his friends what's up.
What's funny is the fireball damage that you did when you initially blasted the center mass was 27 points. I had arbitrarily, before the fight, assigned 26 hit points to each of the Yanti. When you said you rolled 27 points, I was like, are you freaking kidding me? I couldn't believe that. You basically almost completely one-shotted. Yeah, it was a good... I thought it was a good thing that I had 8 Terrafolk waiting to come in.
You thought. No, the viewers don't know this, but in between sessions, Jake, you're like, Marquise, you think you're prepared, but you don't know what's going to happen. Marquise knew. Marquise came with the guns already. There was no way I was going down without a fight.
And anybody that's familiar with Tomb of Annihilation, that's read the book, will know that this could be considered heavily inspired by... I'm using things right out of the book, but I'm definitely moving pieces around and playing with some things. And even then, Marquise is still on top of things. And the only reason Brilinya and Vale spent most of that session unconscious was failed saves. That'll get you. And I rolled a save for Ubo, and he failed it. So, man, that would have been a terrific time for Ubo to do some cool monk stuff, some Sun Soul stuff, but till another session. So
one day he'll do something.
One day.
And cool.
Until then, I will take on the combat responsibilities of Ubo, as I have been doing for the last 21 sessions.
I think you need a little bit of an upgrade, though, in your friend or foe recognition software.
Listen, I one-shot the encounter to save your lives. No bitching, none of that. I'm a superhero. I'm Superman.
Now, see, if I was a dick DM that needed to have things go my way, there would have been a Tyrannosaurus stampede, or not a Tyrannosaurus, Triceratops stampede, come barreling through or something like that. But
I had 17 spell points left, so that was 3 more fireballs to say fuck your Tyrannosauruses just in case.
No, I wouldn't do anything like that. I had my encounter planned out, and you beat it. So yeah, so The continuing adventures of Chult of Personality with Vale, Dunala, Brilinya, and the seemingly mostly unconscious Ubo. So yeah, just a huge thank you to everybody that tuned in to watch. Another thank you to what you looking at, our friend Josh, who has subscribed for 5 months in a row. Pretty much, he was the first subscriber, and he's been subscribing every month since we got affiliated. So I appreciate that, and of course, I'm going to give a shout out to Jason, who is with us every week when we're on. EverJ, we appreciate you coming along with us, and anybody else, if you're lurking or watching silently, we appreciate you coming along with us. Be sure to follow all of these guys on Twitter. You definitely are going to want to see what everybody's up to. Dice on Ice RPG's got some pretty phenomenal things coming up very soon, which legally I'm not allowed to talk about, apparently. Beyond what you've already said, and I won't steal your wind out of your sails, but definitely follow at MTD_Jake to keep abreast of what is happening with the just announced Adventure Mixtape Volume 1 releasing in early fall. And right here on the channel, I will be doing some adventure prep and design for this one-shot adventure, which I don't think I've actually announced what it is. But Marquise actually technically was a playtester on it, because it is the Gorillas in Their Midst adventure that I ran about 2 years ago. It's getting the official published treatment. So yeah, that's what's going on with the channel. Of course, I got on Sunday nights. Megan is joining us along with 3 other players for the Bastards of Bastion. And I've got some other stuff coming up on the channel, one-shots and crafting and things like that. Mike, give us your final thoughts. Tell us where we can find you and say goodbye.
I'm still asleep. This is going to be interesting. This is going to be very interesting. Looking forward to the next session. Once again, I'm on Twitter. I'm on YouTube channel, like Thepiper. Check that out. And also, you can find me on the Absolute Tabletop Facebook group, which if you're not in part of that, you should be, because it's a pretty awesome group.
Absolutely.
Yes, absolutely tabletop. And it's a good group. I really like it. If you're struggling to find players, there's lots of people who are more than willing to play in games, because DMs are hard to find. And whether it's D&D or Star Wars or Call of Cthulhu or Lamentations of the Flame Princess, if you're like, hey, I got no filters, like, that's your game. There's lots of different games out there. So, give that a shot, check it out. And see you guys at the next time, because I can't say it's going to be next Monday for sure. Who knows?
We never know. Marquise.
I am Marquise. I am the beautiful red-headed destroyer of encounters. You can find me at marquise.blogspot.com. Mike is unsatisfied with my hair techniques, but regardless, he's not the one. Anyway, that's HMM Marquise, not HM Marquise or HMMMMM Marquise. It's too many M's. HMMMarquise.blogspot.com, where I post stuff up and do whatnots. And that is that for me right now. I was Megan. I was waiting all session to do this.
And finally, Megan.
Hey everyone, I'm Megan. I am one half of the YouTube channel Dice on Ice. We are going to be having some stuff coming up that is really, really exciting. So yeah, keep your eyes out for that. We'll be tweeting about it. I think that's the right word to use.
We'll be squatting about it. What? Can I say that?
So look out for that. And as always, this game is so awesome. I love it when both the player and the character have the same emotions kind of like conflicted. So I'm excited to see what's going to happen.
I definitely want to give a huge shout out to the players for either, one, forgetting or two just being really good at not metagaming, because we've had at least we've had 2 cutscenes that have revealed Yanti involvement, and we've had 1 cutscene that revealed Salida's shadiness. And y'all either forgot about it or you're just really good. I mean, you guys are all fantastic at not metagaming. I've said it before. All of these players here are, in their own right, are phenomenal DMs that I've had the honor to play under, every one of them. So I've never trusted players more than I trust these 4 individuals. So this is just a lot of fun to see when people are so invested in this way. Since he's not here, I'm going to plug Drake real quick. The @RPG_construct on Twitter when he does remember to tweet. You can also check out the RPG Construct on YouTube, where he has several videos, several games that he's run, a campaign that's on hiatus right now, but in the absolute tabletop and tabletop terror setting of Dragon Grin, the Dragon Grin Chronicles. And he also does how to play series on. Right now he's got videos for Mouse Guard and Call of Cthulhu, and he's putting the finishing touches on a Tales from the Loop series as well. So be sure to check those out. Check everybody out. Follow them. Follow the channel if you aren't already. Think about subscribing. We appreciate it. I've been Jake from Mini Terrain Domain, and as we always say, and